Well, welcome to the Talking Movies channel. Your regularly scheduled episode of Talking Movies. I'm your ho-
Regularly scheduled, he says, after 2 months of nothing.
I'm your
Okay.
host. I'm your host, Korean. Joining me is my lovely co-host, Slicer.
Yes, we're the new Ebert.
Right? Ebert and
Fuck that
Cisco.
other guy, just Ebert.
Just Ebert. Just Ebert.
Ebert, and then a second Ebert.
All right. I know.
The show is literally just them two agreeing with each other on everything.
I know. Everyone's been anxious to hear our voices again talking about film. Well, here we are. So I there's only one way to start this episode. Um, we're gonna go straight into our movie spotlight of one of the greatest movies I've seen probably this entire year. Freaking La La Land. I think you've seen La La Land, right, Slicer?
Yes, the last time I checked.
Yeah. Last time I checked, I've seen La La Land a few times as well. God, this movie is dazzling. It's stunning. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I freaking love this movie, dude. Like seriously.
Yeah, I think you described it best last night when you said it was a love letter to all the '60s musicals.
Yeah, it's an homage, really. I mean, it's a perfect love letter to the musicals and film in general, classic Hollywood of
like
the
the
40s
whole
and 50s.
the glamour of it, especially in the earlier stages of cinematography.
Yeah, I mean the aesthetics of this film are just amazing. I can't get this film out of my mind, honestly. Um, um, like that was one of the biggest draws when I was thinking of La La Land, right? Just that how beautiful it looked. Like not I hadn't even seen the movie yet. Just by looking at the trailers and promotional imagery, I'm just like this is I haven't seen this kind of color in Hollywood in forever. I might go as far as to say this might be the prettiest movie I've seen in like the past decade, maybe.
Yeah, the whole the whole glamour and ritzy ditzy nature of L.A. before all that cynicism, I think, is pretty well captured in it. I guess there's a hint of modern cynicism. Is that
Yeah, but that's what La La Land does really well, though. You know, it is a very it takes its inspirations from old school Hollywood and old school cinema, but like with a very fresh modern take to it. You know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I gotta say, although I will say that the plot is it's not spectacularly new. And I would say it's a little cheesy, but I don't mean that in a bad way. It really lives up to it, you know.
It is a. I think it's very. I'm not gonna say it's gonna win some screenplay award because it's not like it's a
Yeah,
revolutionary
no, it's not innovative.
innovative
I
screenplay.
mean, it's pretty straightforward. Again, I would say it's a little cheesy, but
It's
it's not a bad thing. It knows what it is.
it's straightforward, but you know what? No, you're right. It knows what it is, but it's strong though. You know,
Oh
this
yeah, it's
film
strong.
could have
Yeah, yeah.
easily been some failed romantic comedy film with a few musical numbers, but it transcends that to being an actual great movie. You know, with because the writing is actually strong with very believable, realistic characters with their own ambitions and goals and dreams and struggles. In Set in a backdrop of a beautiful, if truth be told, idealized Los Angeles,
Oh yeah, of
accompanied
course.
with an
But
amazing score.
like that idealization is really a mandatory thing if you're going to do a musical. I think
Mm.
to
Mm.
do, especially with like the sort of like vintage nostalgia
Yeah,
filter
yeah. You
that it's
know,
going for.
that's another thing that really pulled me into La La Land. That really made me fall in love with this movie is how much fun and idealistic and carefree this movie was. I just had fun throughout this entire movie, you know,
Yeah,
like this huge smile on my face throughout the entire film, and that's not a thing. Too many films. I mean, I can say, oh, this film was very good. I can say this film was did very well. It was done well, and technically very good, executed very well. Blah 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 blah. But very few films can really fill me with the kind of grandeur that La La Land did. Something that
yeah.
Hollywood I think has been missing for a bit. for sure.
Yeah, and I like that there wasn't really any clear cut villain in the film. It was really just people's interactions and goals becoming different.
Well, I mean, it really is an examination, right? If we're gonna go bare bones, right? This movie is if we're gonna ignore the whole musical aspect of it. It's an examination of a relationship and how it gradually moves naturally, it progresses naturally through time. Uh, well, not just a relationship, but a relationship between two artists and the struggle between of these artists, right? And
Yeah,
the natural progression of their relationship over time. We're probably gonna trend into spoilers here, so but I don't care.
I mean, you're watching a movie talk. Like, what did you expect?
Yeah, I mean, if you're worried about that, you've gone too
Broski,
far.
like if you went into a movie talk expecting no spoilers, you need to reconsider some things about your life. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
put that out there.
So, yeah, I mean, when you think about the examination of the relationship, the story of the relationship, and how the ups and the downs and the eventual not decay, I should say. Decay sounds negative. I mean, it was a very natural, very progression of the relationship, which I thought was
Yeah,
handled,
and
which I thought was executed very well.
ultimately, that's how relationships work.
Yeah, and ultimately that's
Like
how.
it might be great at one point, but that doesn't mean it's going to be great at all points. And sometimes it's just too much for the people that are involved in it.
I mean, this is another way the story could have gone the writing could have gone in a very mediocre, cliched route where they fall in love. I mean, they did fall in love, but they live happily ever after. They both achieved their dreams and they're both successful, beautiful
And they
millennials.
are. It's just
They
not with
are.
each other.
They're not with each other, and
And I think that makes that little what could have been moment
what a beautiful moment.
even more raw. Like we get that alternate timeline. It's exactly what we expected in a standard film, and really that sort of film would have been too out of place if this was made like 50s.
Oh no, no, you're right. But the way I think the production handled the ending, the director Chazelle, well, I'll talk about him later. God, I have so much things to say about Chazelle and the writers behind it.
Yeah,
That was I think executed very deftly. Like very well done
yeah,
ending.
yeah. Yeah, and then like at the very end, we get that pulled back to what really is. We're not left in that
Oh,
lingering fantasy.
it's just stunning. It just not stunning. It's just a really harsh punch to the gut when reality kicks in, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I've heard a
but
lot of people.
I will say
Yeah.
it's also pretty bittersweet. I mean,
Yeah.
they're both happy with what they have.
No, I will. No, that's
It
what I
didn't.
was gonna
Like
say.
there's
But yeah.
still there's not any lingering
Right, right,
bitterness or
right, right,
anything.
right. Like reality really hits you hard when it comes back in, but in the end you realize how they're both happy for sure.
Yep.
I mean, they reminisce about what could be. Maybe their lives could have been different in one way or the other. But I mean, in reality, life you move on. It moves on, and
You just
and you just gotta be happy with what you got. And I think that was done very well. Like a lot of people, some people I've heard say the ending is sad and heartbreaking, but I just think it's just a beautiful moment between two people uh, in a cross section of their in a crossing moment of their lives. Ah man,
yeah
it was a great way to end it. Oh,
yeah.
but
How did you feel about how
yeah,
Sebastian still ended up going for his old dream instead of keep on with his thing with the band?
I mean, I think it was, gonna happen, right? It was it's not essential, but like, what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
Inevitable.
Inevitable that he was gonna open his own jazz club, right? I think that's just what's gonna happen. I do think okay, so if we're gonna talk about this, I think we should go to the I would say climax of the not climax, but like a turning point of the movie when Sebastian and Mia are having their big argument scene, right?
Yeah.
And they're arguing whether or not Sebastian is really following his dreams, whether he's, is it what he's doing, what he really wants to do, and stuff like that. And I was always conflicted about that. I mean, if you think about it, him joining John Legend's band whatever the fuck his name was, his character's name was,
Keith.
Keith. Yeah, if you think about it, right, it was a steady job with a good pay, and it was just like, I don't know. I always felt conflicted about it. It seemed like it was kind of the right choice, if you know what I mean, right?
You know, yeah. I mean, I think, although it it was I don't know if it's the right choice. I don't think I'd use that word. I think it's just a choice that he made and eventually became his new goal because, right, his mentality is that he wanted to get a consistent job because he overheard Mia talking on the phone with her parents.
No, yeah, I like that scene. It was
That
subtle.
scene, yeah, that was
Um,
clearly the catalyst for that decision. But like,
Actually, I guess that scene wasn't really that subtle. It was very blunt in what it was trying to tell you with the cutaway to the
yeah,
stained ceiling.
yeah, it was not, it was not subtle.
But it was a nice
It
little scene.
tries to be. I'm not sure if it was trying to be subtle, but not subtle.
Um, but
Yeah, that was like,
yeah.
I think that was the defining moment where those two timelines split.
Right. But ultimately, though, I mean, the dream really is about, pursuing. Not dream, sorry. The film really is about pursuing your dreams, and the hardships that come with it. And even though there are lots of hardships and obstacles to
Yeah,
your
of
dreams,
course.
you have to persevere. Like we see Mia's character go through audition after audition after
Audition, and
audition.
then when she does that play, or her one woman play, you hear those guys talk about it.
Oh, when
Hair
when
into
when
it.
when Sebastian's character comes to after the photo shoot to meet with her, and she just breaks down. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah, but
What a yeah.
that's such a painfully realistic scene of what happens to like so many people who go to LA, and
Mm,
do audition after audition, hoping it'll be a big break. Eventually, realize that they don't really have anything special. They're just another face.
right. And can I say Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone killed it in their roles.
Yes,
Like in that scene, in the argument scene, in the many
in
dance
the scene
numbers.
where she's handing a lady who's asking if it's gluten free or not. That's exactly
I
how I
love
would
that
have
scene.
acted.
I love the scene.
It's gluten
Fantastic.
free. Oh,
I don't
I don't
know.
know. Do you have a condition?
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, Emma Stone really had that. Um, really. Uh, what was I gonna say? Really. Not try hard. Try hard sounds bad, but very sort of determined.
Dedicated. She's very
Dedicated.
dedicated. Very
Uh,
passionate.
passionate. That's a good one. I mean, I love how passionate she is about film. Like it kind of reminds me of me.
Of
I'm no,
course, of
I'm no,
course.
I'm no actor, but I love the way she's so passionate about movies. And then
A series auditioning as a school teacher in inner city school. You be tripping, Jamal.
no, you be tripping, Jamal.
Okay, like you
cut
can't
the
blame
cut
Emma
the
Stone
aha.
for that audition. Like that was just a really bad dialogue.
Yeah, but then you smash cut the aha. That's fantastic.
Oh
Fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah. But then you also
Oh
have Ryan Gosling playing just the perfect mix of jackass and once again another really passionate man, a passionate person. And
yeah.
really two really great characters in my opinion. Really fleshed out characters. I mean, here's another way the story could have been just really run-of-the-mill, boring romantic comedy movie, by having real flat characters. But these are real well-rounded, well-defined characters that really,
Do you
push the
remember that
movie
scene
onwards.
where Sebastian explains to his sister that he got shanghaied?
Yeah, I got shanghaied.
I would love to know more about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. We
Although
just
I
kind
will
of
say that
yeah.
I don't know, like the whole inclusion of his sister in the film, that was kind of negligible.
No, I think it's not negligible, but it's a very I think it's important. Without the sister, you lose a little bit. And the first and when you include the sister, you have a little bit of world building
Yeah.
without a bunch of exposition, right? So we
Yeah.
have Ryan Gosling's character Sebastian. He's a aspiring jazz pianist, or no, he is a jazz pianist, as I'm saying. He's aspiring to have his own jazz club and stuff like that. He has his sister, who is trying to get him straight, get him off his horse, so to say. And then we also have this little backstory of his sister getting engaged, getting married, him coming to the wedding of his sisters, and then we also see eventually postcards of the happy family and the kid, and it's like subtle world building, subtle storytelling without ham-fisted exposition everywhere, like
Gotcha.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotcha. Um.
Why don't we talk about the direction and cinematography of this movie, right? Because it just melted my brain
Yeah.
with how good this movie was directed.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Chazelle is a goddamn genius. He's what, 30, 31 years old or something like that?
Something like that.
Harvard graduate, I think. Already has a 2 Academy Award nominated movies in 2 years. And La La Land, can we just say, with a record tying 14 nominations? This guy's on fire.
Oh yeah. Especially since he had such trouble trying to get anyone to fund this.
Yeah, exactly. All he had to do was make
Whiplash.
Whiplash, no big deal, right? Jesus
No
Christ.
big deal. Just a movie that had kind of a similar premise, but was a lot more abusive.
What a dude. Oh my god. I'm so impressed by this guy. Anyways, so about his directing style. I really like his directing style. His use of long uninterrupted tracking shots was fantastic. I really like the way they were utilized in a lot of the scenes. One of my favorite moments was Someone in the Crowd, right? Which I love that song.
Yeah.
Is near the end when Mia's walking out of the bathroom, and the camera slowly following her, and we're walking past the groups of people slowly dancing, and it's just a mesmerizing scene, really, and it's done in such a slow, drawn out way. You can really pulls you into Mia's character and really shows you how she's really feeling. Was kind of walking slow motion in this world of glitz and glam and kind of fakeness of it all, and also just gorgeous too with the way they utilized the slow motion movement and the what was it, snow, I think that was falling on her. I couldn't really tell, but I thought that was also very pretty too. And then it cuts to the fast camera movement into the pool, spinning around with the whip pans and everything. It's just gorgeously executed. Like the director of photography for this film, I can't remember his name. I'm really sorry, but he is so good at what he does in this movie. The whip pans, the crane movements, the sweeping camera motions, the long tracking shots. I mean, sure, Chazelle is directing it, but the DP, the director of photography, is really the one that's really behind the camera and really in charge of it, and he executes it gorgeously. Like, I'm a big fan of this guy's cinematography, for sure.
Oh yeah, no, the lighting is just spectacular.
Oh, the lighting is
beautiful.
stunning. The lighting
Oh
is
yeah,
stunning.
like, oh my god, like, it's definitely every scene felt like a. Especially, I think
yeah.
one of my favorites was when Emma's in the bathroom at that club or at that party early on in the movie, and then she leaves, and it's just like this, heavy red light and just silhouettes of people everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the color is spectacular in this movie. I think I've harped on the color a few times already, but like it really complements. It just pops. The color just pops on screen. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
If anybody's interested in watching, I highly recommend watching it in the theaters. I mean, I don't think you can watch it anywhere else, but if you have the chance, watch it in theater. It is a fantastic movie going experience. To see that really encompasses your eyeballs with color.
It's like,
Yeah.
It's beautiful, like just color, 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 color everywhere.
I will say there is you do see an interesting shift in set design and costume design. I've noticed in the beginning of the film was far more vibrant, far more colorful, far more solid, loud colors, if I should say. But as we transition more towards the middle of the film, I think we noticed a kind of like muted palette amongst costuming. I think, I mean, the film was still beautiful and it was still very vibrant, but I think we noticed as the relationship grew and matured, we noticed the wardrobes and the colors of the world kind of, mature with like it's like in the beginning of the film we enter a really idealized, fantasized La La Land, LA, and as this relationship formed between me and Sebastian, and they mature and their struggles as artists really come to life, we start to come into the more realistic Los Angeles. As the realism starts to come crash into this film very subtly. So we see this subtle transition from very vibrant, bright colors to a much more kind of a muted palette, if I might say so myself, which I found very interesting.
Yeah, or like how, as you mentioned last night, how the shots when they were in a relationship were just always those two together.
Yes, that's
fighting.
also
It's alternates between those two.
Right. That was also a very good, very nice direction choice. Where, yeah, like you said, I said, when the relationship started, they were always in the same shot. But once the fighting started, we then cut the singles with Sebastian and me, which I thought was nice touch, very nice touch. How much? What else can I talk about the cinematography? I feel like there was something else I wanted to mention. One thing I will say though about the cinematography in La La Land, the whip pans were fine, usually, but sometimes I could find them gratuitous at times.
Like when?
I can't really point a particular scene, but like sometimes I felt like physically I was like, okay, stop moving so much, Jesus Christ, stop. But I will say that I'm very impressed with the way they did it. I saw some behind the scene footage of them filming like the scene where it's the end of their summer montage and they're at the lighthouse bar, and it goes back and forth between Sebastian playing the piano and Mia dancing, and that kind of stuff could easily have been done in post, but Chazelle and the DP, those crazy guys, they did it all physically. So there's this great behind the scenes where you see the director of photography behind the camera and Chazelle behind the director of photography, and every time he wants a whip pan, he just taps the guy's shoulder, and the guy just goes shoop, shoop, and moves the camera so ridiculously fast. And it doesn't seem like much, but the skill that requires is ridiculous. First of all, he has to get the whip pan fast enough that it looks like a goddamn whip pan and it doesn't look clunky. And secondly, every time he whips, he has to frame the shot perfectly as well. I was so impressed by the way they created that scene, for sure. I loved the little nods to old school cinema they had throughout the movie. I chuckled at the part where Mia and her friends are coming to the party and we have all these neon signs flashing by them, which I thought was a fun little, cute little throwback. And,
or when they're walking through the they're walking, talking after she gets on break from the coffee shop, and they get onto a scene that's being filmed.
That was a very funny moment. A very subtle moment in the background, but very funny.
Yeah, it's a good callback to the different realities of what's on camera versus what's off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I still want to say that was probably a jab at the Notebook.
I mean, it could very well have been. I mean, I see it more as a general, like, not critique, but like a general, like, representation of how, it's kind of like symbolism in the way that Hollywood is kind of manufactures this dream world of Los Angeles, and the behind the scenes reality of it all is not as sweet as it all seems, There
Yeah,
is some
I
real
mean,
life behind it all.
that was that was actually basically what happened with Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams. As soon as they yelled "cut," was the screaming matches would sometimes get so intense that the other cast members actually have to just pull them off
Right.
each other.
So I think we might have forgotten something, Sister.
What, the
This
music?
this movie's a musical, right?
Yes.
let's talk
Let's
about
talk about
let's talk
everything
about the
but the
music.
music
Let's talk
first,
about
and
the
then let's
music.
talk about the music, right?
This is a musical. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of musicals, but this was definitely a fantastic, like we said, throwback to the old school musicals of the day. And my God, does the music deliver?
Yeah.
You know what? Let's run through the tracks for the most part. Let's start at the beginning with the opening number. Actually, I feel like we should open with the opening number, talking about that. But that happened. So the opening number, Another Day of Sun. What did you think about that opening number?
That opening number, I didn't expect the first song to be that early in the film.
I didn't expect it to be so extravagant and sort of out of place, but in a very, very good way.
It is like the cinematography for that was great. I liked the camera, like the shot of it. The flow of the shot.
That thing was apparently done in 3 takes, which blows my damn mind. I mean, 3 cuts, I should say. That blows my mind. It is the most seamless. It is the most seamless single shot thing I've seen in a very long time. Like, I don't know how they edited it, but the editing was top notch in that scene. Like, I could have sworn it was all 1 take. Like, ridiculous. Oh, anyways, so you were saying?
Yeah, and it really caught me off.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it did kind of catch me off guard too. I mean, it might seem a bit out of place, seem a bit outlandish, suddenly bursting out into a song, but I think it was such a perfect introduction to what this movie is, right? Right?
Yeah.
You start this movie, we see this bustling highway of Los Angeles. We pan across these cars. We get little snippets of little different personalities of these people we'll never see again. And then we just go straight into this opening scene, which is just dazzling and fabulous. And so kind of carefree and happy, and it really sets the mood for what this movie is. The more cynical critic of me might say that this was kind of like, it was weird, it served no purpose, honestly, besides having a little musical number saying, "Oh, look at us, we're a musical." But it really sets the mood. It really sets the mood for what this movie is gonna be, And I had a huge
Although
smile
I will say, it sets up severe disappointment to any of you that LA just randomly bursts into musicals during traffic jams. Contrary to popular belief, it does not. Contrary to that, it
right.
involves a lot car honks than it.
So yeah, perfect introduction to the movie. The vibrant, beautiful colors, the sweeping camera movements, and the fantastic dancing number on top of the car. It's just like so good, so good, and really sets you up for what's going to be a not a movie you might be used to in present day Hollywood. It's just fantastic. I mean, that's what really sets this movie apart, right? It's something fresh. I mean, it does take an old idea of like old school musicals, but it just feels so fresh in when you compare it to movies these days. And it's just something something refreshing to watch a movie like La La Land, and really makes me happy. So that opening number was fantastic. It transitions pretty smoothly into introducing our 2 main characters. And then more story. I suppose we should just jump on to the next musical number, which I'm also a huge fan of, which is Someone in the Crowd.
Yeah.
Another sequence where Chazelle flexes his directing muscles with a beautiful long tracking shot throughout the flat, or house, I should say. Sweet. I don't know why I said flat. Another gorgeous one. And once again, the colors. I'm gonna keep talking about the colors. The colors.
Colors were like, this was a movie that I guess sacrificed a little bit of plot for a lot more style, and honestly, it did it so well. I think that's pretty just.
sacrifice a little bit, but not too much. You know,
Not too
it
much,
strikes a
honestly.
balance.
It's fine. Like the plot again, it was pretty straightforward. Like
This
there
is
weren't any
yeah,
terribly big twists that you'd come to expect, and
right,
that's actually probably a good thing because
right. Well, this is
we've had enough
definitely
of big twist
this
movies,
is
anyways.
this is definitely a movie that is style over substance. But the
It
style,
is.
the style is just so fantastic and eye catching and dazzling.
Yeah, and you know, we can see some parallel to this film to The Great Gatsby in that regard, where they focused a
Except
lot more on
not
the
as good as a
style
movie.
and the music. Huh?
Except not really that good of a movie.
Okay, okay, well, let me finish, okay? Like, in that regard, because it focuses a lot more on the style and the music than it really did the plot, the difference is that this is more sincere and heartfelt.
You know
Because the
what? It is
problem
very
with
sincere.
the
You're right.
movie's version of The Great Gatsby was that it lacked soul, which is a
Mm-hmm.
big problem if you've ever read the book.
Oh,
Like, the book was
yeah.
essentially, you know, a big drama, but I mean,
Oh, and this movie has
it's the sort of
plenty of soul.
drama where you're not supposed to analyze it from a logical standpoint. You just get sucked up in the emotion of it all.
Right, and let me and you, I think you'll agree with me. La La Land has plenty of soul.
But yeah. Like La La Land did it well. It had feeling and had soul to it.
Right. All right. So, someone in the crowd is actually, I think, my favorite
Yeah,
song. Uh, I mean, if we're gonna talk about in regards to the movie, the opening number with the whole highway sequence is my favorite moment of the film. Not to say that the rest of the movie, like, not to say it all goes downhill from the opening scene. Just that the opening scene just catches my attention so vividly. But I just love the song. Someone that cries. It's so catchy, and then it's just so much fun to listen to, and then it just eventually falls into that sad, slower portion, which then picks up again near the end. It just a fabulous song, in my opinion.
yeah.
Really, really good one. Really captures the essence of Hollywood, in my opinion. And then we see what comes after someone in the crowd. Um, Let me pull up the soundtrack actually to La La Land. So, we got Another Day, Someone in the Crowd. Oh, and then of course we see the first instance of me and Sebastian's love theme. When she enters the not jazz, the restaurant.
Yeah.
Who's Ryan Gosling's character. A gorgeous theme, really
Oh yeah.
gorgeous. So this is
Oh
something
gosh, that lighting.
oh yeah. This is something I noticed Chazelle likes to do a lot. Where he'll take like he'll try to draw your focus onto a character by shutting down all the lights and putting like a spotlight on the character. Which man, if you think about it, in any other movie it would look really cheesy.
Yeah.
But it like we said, this is the movie that is much more stylistic than other films, and it really does that well with the way he captures that light cascading onto that character that you really want to focus on, you know. Unrealistic, of course, but you know, fun way to draw your attention to a character. So that's a lovely little theme motif that stays throughout the film. A fantastic little piece. And then we go into one of the more fun numbers, A Lovely Night.
Yeah.
That tap dance sequence was so much fun to watch.
Oh yeah, with especially when they incorporated the bench.
Yeah, exactly. I not so subtle throwback to Singing in the Rain, I believe, with the lamppost, but still, that tap dance sequence was spectacular, and I'm so surprised that they did it. Not that they did a tap dance sequence, but that Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone did anything in this movie. Like, good God, how much work did they do? It blows my mind sometimes.
That throwaway joke with the Prius and the
That was a fun little gag.
Yeah, and the head antenna thing was a fun gag.
Yeah. Do you remember at the end of A Lovely Night, when Sebastian says goodbye, and then he walks all the way back to the party where his
Yeah.
car was? That was a nice little touch. I thought that was a nice little touch. How he, he didn't have to go all the way with Mia, but he decided to
Yes,
go
that
with Mia.
brought back memories.
Memories of going to Hollywood parties and escorting uh, pretty actresses to their cars.
Yeah, that's my life, you know.
Yeah, that's your life, right?
When I was 4, I escorted actresses all the time.
Um, yeah, A Lovely Night was definitely one of the more clear throwbacks, I think, to the classic Hollywood era. But a very fun, very lighthearted number that really captures. It really is what this movie is. It's a fun, lighthearted romp, and but when I mean lighthearted, it's no casual movie by any means. It is a fantastically well executed, beautiful piece of art, in all essence, with little fun moments like this. And then we have probably the one of the biggest numbers, City of Stars, which gets played a few
Which
times.
is my favorite.
Your favorite? Okay, it's a good one. It's a great song. Kind of not plaintive. Plaintive is like a lawyer. Uh, what's that word I'm looking for? God, I can't think of words.
What are you trying to say?
It's like kind of, it's like a word for like sad, kind of. But you know what I mean. It's kind of mournful, kind of
Somber, melancholy.
somber, melancholy. Sure, just throw more words. Uh,
Just throw more words.
it's a lovely little song. I prefer the duet version later on with Emma Stone
Yeah.
character. I think when they do the duet, I think that's just very lovely. Uh, Start a Fire was an interesting song. I think John Legend's character was, I think, important. Some people will criticize that his introduction was kind of jarring in a way, but I think it was kind of important. But I will say the songs that they did as a group was kind of weird, in the sense that it
Why?
stood out from the rest of the music, right?
Yeah.
So the rest of the music was kind of traditional, kind of musical fare, and then here comes this kind of pop number, which is interesting.
Oh, actually, yeah, like that was just how I don't know how I felt about
I
that
think
song.
I think I think visually it was done well.
Yeah.
But the song was one of the weaker parts of the movies, I think. uh,
I think that was intentional.
and then next up we have Audition, which is the kind of the showstopper of the film.
Yeah.
I liked it. I like the whole single take. Once again, a lot of single takes, a lot of long single takes, which I am a fan of. I like that kind of directing style of Emma Stone's character, Mia, and the the passion she really feels for her career, and what inspired her, which is her aunt, and a really lovely piece to kind of end the film on,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really end with that one, but that's really the big last, big piece, which is Audition. And then we have this wonderful montage sequence in the epilogue with we go back through a few tracks. We have a little snippet of Another Day of Sun again. We have City of Stars again. We have little snippets of music, which is fun. But going over the soundtrack made me remember one of my criticisms of this movie. So we've gushed a lot about this film. So I think it's very clear that we really like this film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no film is perfect, and I think that this is another movie that is subject to some criticism. So I will lay out some criticisms I have of this movie. One thing I thought was kind of could have done a little bit well was near the middle part. I think the movie kind of dragged a little bit, in the sense that it kind of relied a little bit too much on montage sequences, and also I think forgot that it was a musical at some points. Like in the beginning, we get we get song basically, right? And then
Yeah.
eventually, after let's say the planetarium sequence, which we should probably talk about. I can't believe we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, we should. That went through me for a loop. That planetarium.
Right. But after that planetarium sequence, there was kind of a drop in that. I mean, I guess the movie kind of pivoted more into a drama of these two characters' lives and their relationship with each other. But there was definitely a very serious lack of musical, which kind of I think drag the middle part out a bit. And then suddenly we go into the audition scene. I mean, there are great sequences in between. Let's say Starfire and audition with the clash between Mia and Sebastian and her return to Boulder City and stuff like that. But then once we go to the audition scene where she breaks on the song, I'm just like, oh right, this is a musical. Oh, I forgot about that.
It was like, yeah, oh right, let's start singing again. It's been a while.
Yeah. But yeah, so I felt like the middle part kind of dragged on a little bit, with
Yeah, but like I also feel like some of the wasn't as natural. Like it didn't have didn't quite have as natural a flow as it could have. It felt a little spontaneous.
Most of the numbers seemed incredibly spontaneous, but I was okay with that sort of, the spontaneousness of the music.
The spontaneity.
Spontaneity. Yep. Thank you. You be my word checker, please. I can't speak.
Word checker. All right, new job. $3.50 an hour.
You've been promoted.
$3.50 an hour, please.
But yeah, I definitely noticed that too, kind of spontaneous the spontaneous nature of the musical numbers for sure.
So the planetarium scene, right?
Oh wait. Let me run through my. I want to get through all my criticisms in one go before. I don't want to go back and forth between that. Another thing that kind of bugged me about this movie was that at the end, how in the fuck did she do all that in 5 years?
Okay, listen. You
got
got a lot of movie magic, and you like her career growth wasn't linear; it was exponential. Like whatever movie they were making, Paris.
She has. So in 5 years,
apparently did absurdly well. Like this was like Titanic level.
Wait, Slicer, wait. So in 5 years, Mia stars in a supposedly blockbuster movie. Meets another man, marries that man, has a I think 2-year-old kid, and then it also has a vibrant acting career
mansion
in a big house. How does that happen in 5 years?
Well, maybe. Well, we don't know much about the husband. Maybe he did absurdly well. Maybe that was all just like his stuff, and she just came along. You know?
The kid's not even hers.
She's just really attached to that kid.
Oh man. That's just kind of like a nitpick I have of the movie, but what are you gonna do?
Is Korean says that not all movies perfect. Literally only has like 2 nitpicks with the movie.
Well, I mean, it just shows how good the movie was. I love this movie, but no movie is perfect, and every movie is up for criticism. There are always ways a movie can be better, and that's what art is. Art can always be better.
Art can always be better.
But let me talk about that planetarium scene, baby. That was a beautiful sequence. Very dreamy in the way they executed it, sort of. That planetarium sequence was kind of another way that this movie, kind of transcended reality. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like that, the opening sequence, the tap dance number, stuff like that. This definitely was a movie that wasn't completely grounded in reality, which I will say is another
trying to say that when you're starting to float in a planetarium with your
damn you, Slicer, damn you.
Perhaps that's not the most realistic depiction of what happens when you break into a planet.
God damn it. So yes, that's that entire sequence really elevates the film. In my opinion, it's not really a realistic film per se, but it's definitely a film that captures the fancy of Hollywood,
Yeah,
of the art of the dream.
and
Um,
I like how that does become
right.
that does get revisited later.
Yeah.
Like when they're sitting in the park, discussing what they are anymore, and
Yeah.
they're not. And Emma Stone says she's not sure where they are, and that the view is terrible. I think that really sets the point that that whatever they had was in the past, and that's not a bad thing, but
No,
it's
it's not a
over.
bad thing. I
Like
mean,
an acceptance that what they had was fun. It was
yes,
real in the
exactly.
moment, but it
Right.
is no longer the now.
No, you perfectly captured that. Exactly, you perfectly captured that. But before we move on to something else, I want to say my one last criticism I had of La La Land. While I did just say about how I liked the kind of disconnect the movie had from reality, I kind of how it drifted off into a fantasy world at times, and it really pulled you in as an audience, as a viewer, into this world of beautiful Los Angeles, the idealized fantasy Los Angeles, obviously. I did feel like at times the movie was at conflict within itself. I mean, at times it was this fantastical journey through a relationship, through the artist struggle, through these dazzling musical numbers, but also at times it really wanted to be a grounded movie. Like it was very grounded in reality at times, um, following the careers and the aspirations of this actress and this musician, and their relationship, and the arguments that they have, the career choices that they make, the sacrifices they make, them pursuing their goals and dreams. It was a very grounded movie at times, which was at conflict with how idealized the movie could be at other times, which I found kind of conflicting with each other. Not too much in that it took away from the movie, but it was enough that I kind of felt was a bit noticeable, in a
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah. But those are basically my main criticisms of this movie. This movie is amazing. My favorite movie of the year, 2016. Would you say so?
Uh, Definitely high up there.
High up there. All right.
High up there. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite of this year.
Well, I came to the conclusion that it was my favorite movie of the year because I came out of that theater saying, I want to see that movie again.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
I know. You watched that movie like what 5 times now?
guilty. That's not happens a lot. But when I walked out of theater and I thought, damn, I could really go see that movie again. I knew there's something special. Um, um, I give this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you pay to go see it again. Like, damn, dude. Damn. Like, if the movie is so good, you pay to see it in theaters again.
Listen. Watching this in theaters is absolutely worth it.
Oh,
100%.
absolutely. Especially if you're near a fancy theater that has reclining chairs and
It's a
serves you pizza.
fancy theater with the reclining
Like,
chairs
by
and
all
the
means,
pizza
like,
pie.
sit in a recliner, eat the pie, watch the movie, fall in love with either of those two or both, have yourself a good time.
Well, I give this movie 5 out of 5 Ryan Goslings.
4.99999999999 out of 5.
Ryan Goslings, or do you have a different scale from mine?
Out of no, 5 City of Stars.
5 City of Stars. All right, good. I'll figure out how to do this in post later.
Playing each instance playing 1 second off from each other. So it's just one big echoing City of Stars.
Well, I think we talked everything we could about this gorgeous movie. I recommend everybody go see this. But this is a very special time of the year. This is one of my favorite time of the year. Movie wise, it kind of sucks. January, February, it's a dead season. But to make up for that, we have the wonderful award season, razzle dazzle of Hollywood, and the glitz and glam, and the criticisms, and the why is only white people getting awards, and Hollywood is all about money, and what about this movie that didn't get noticed, and everybody's just marketing for these movies, and blah blah blah. Shut up and just watch the awards. Sorry, I got a little personal there.
I noticed.
Okay, yes, the Academy Awards is often criticized, and not just the Academy Awards, but all other award shows are often criticized for being, very superficial, and oftentimes not really, sometimes not being able to recognize real, true art of movies. I can understand that. That happens a lot. But the award seasons, it's a great time to recognize the great movies of the past year. And yes, there will be snubs, there will be disappointments, there will be surprises. But you know what? That's what happens. Let's go with it. So, anyways, so the nominations for the what is this? The 89th Academy Awards? I cannot remember. But basically, the nominations for the 2017 Academy Awards were announced a few weeks ago, and I think we should go through them and look at some notable stuff, and I'll talk about some movies we may have seen or maybe not have seen. And let me tell you, going through this list of nominations made me realize how few movies I actually saw this year, or I should say last year, really. Lot of movies. And I'll get to that one eventually. It's on my bucket list. So let's start with the big Mama Jam of the awards. Best Picture. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 nominations for Best Picture. In alphabetical order, we have Arrival, Fences, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, La La Land, Lion, Manchester by the Sea, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight. I have seen 3 of these. Slicer, you've seen La La Land, right? Of course you've seen La La Land.
I think I might have seen La La Land.
I think you might have seen La La Land. Have you seen any of these other nominees?
What do you think I made of money?
There was a local theater chain. Showcase Cinemas. It's not a local theater chain. It's a nationwide theater chain, but it's the one near me. They had a promotion where you could buy a season pass and watch all the movies for pretty cheap. And I was like, oh, sweet. So I looked up local theaters that were doing it. Nowhere near me. Very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. Why do I live in such a small town?
Well, I don't live in that big of a town either. But clearly one of us needs to move.
All right, so let's run through these nominees, because I while I have not seen most of these movies, I do know enough of these movies, and I do know these are well-deserving nominees. So first up, we have Arrival. I did see this movie. Arrival was a great movie. It was very close for me between this and La La Land for my favorite movie of the year. La La Land edged it out barely, but Arrival was a really, really good movie. It is a sci-fi movie, but it really uses the science fiction as a device to really explore a much more kind of psychological story, one that really picks at your brain. It's a thinker. It really is a thinker, but a really tight movie. Really tight direction, tight storyline. It's tight, bro.
It's tight, bro.
This one has another one that's very good cinematography as well. The direction is very clean and precise. I wouldn't say it wasn't anything. A lot of people are really raving about the cinematography of Arrival. It was good. By every means, it was good. But it wasn't anything that was very mind-blowing. It was just very clean and concise and very, very well executed, in a sense. But the story behind Arrival, I won't go into spoilers for this movie, because I think everybody should watch this movie if you're interested. I think the way the story progresses and the way it ends, ultimately, even if you're not a fan of science fiction, if you're just a fan of a good movie and of a good, well executed story, this is a fantastic movie that I highly recommend watching. Also based on a short story, which was, I think, well received. Very basically the same premise, I believe. It's just a little adjustments. But yeah, Arrival, I really like this movie. You're a science fiction fan, right?
It's waning, but
really?
I enjoy a good sci-fi film, but it's waned a bit since I've gotten older.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah. Kind of disappointed me, Slicer. No, I'm kidding.
Typical.
I wouldn't say I'm a huge science fiction fan. There are some movies that I adore. Alien is one of my favorites. Obviously.
Alien Covenant, am I right? When will they learn to not mess with those wacky xenomorphs? Join us next time for another round of chest bursting.
Hey guys, there's an egg on the ground. Should we touch it? Sure. Let's
touch it. It's opening. Let's put our face close to it.
It's hugging my face. Why? So yeah, science fiction is not my favorite genre, but Arrival is one that really strikes a chord with me. Great movie. I liked it a lot.
Now, You
Yep.
know, it's a good. Oh, have you heard they're making a new Friday the 13th film this year?
Isn't this
Or
the
well,
one that's like the 13th one too?
I think yeah, it's like they're releasing the 13th one later on in the year. I think it's sometime in October. I have to double check the release date. But
Well,
I
that's nice.
I know horror really isn't your genre. I
Yeah,
I
I,
was a
I
big
don't
fan
jive
of the
with horror.
slasher films back in the day, and hopefully it's better than the last Friday 13th film, which was essentially Michael Bay's rehash of the first. Like that was what the movie was, a rehash of the first three films as presented by Michael Bay. So instead of explosions, you just have.
is
You know,
is
honestly, I was very surprised there weren't as many explosions.
is Friday the
I thought,
13th the one with Jason hockey mask dude?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a fun fact about that though, I don't know why he called it Friday the 13th. He doesn't actually kill exclusively.
Cause it's spooky. Ooh.
Because like Halloween, Michael Myers kills roughly around Halloween, on Halloween. Texas Chainsaw Massacre also is a bit of
Texas
a
Chainsaw
misnomer. I mean,
Massacre.
I guess there's a lot of implications
Is there no
off
chainsaws?
screen, but there are chain. Yeah, no, there are chainsaws. It's just it wasn't really a mass that many. Well, there weren't quite as many deaths as you think. By implication, a massacre, or at least on screen. Anyway. Yeah, I know. Like it's just like Friday the 13th has always been that black sheep among the big four, as I like to call it.
Ah, the big four, of course, of
Yeah,
course.
the big four of slasher films. You know, the Halloween franchise, Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th. Because I mean, like he doesn't really just kill on Friday the 13th. That's kind of a very weird exclusive date. It doesn't even happen always, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But in every other case, yeah, that their titles actually make sense. Yeah, or like Nightmare on Elm Street. Like apparently Freddy Krueger is just confined to Elm Street. That one street.
Just one
As long
street.
as you don't live there, you're good.
This is my street. You know, you go off the block like, ah, darn kid, getting off my street. Now I can't
And you
kill him.
know, there is a bit of a I don't know what to call it, like a Flanderization, I guess. Exaggeration
I
of
think that
one particular
happens.
trait of a character.
I think that'll happen a lot in these franchises as you get as you get more and more.
And
into
there's
the
a lot
series.
of terror decay, like
Terror
like
decay. That's interesting.
yeah, the terror decay, like the sort of fear that Freddy Krueger instilled early on in the series is not the same fear that he instilled later on.
I don't think.
Things like.
I just don't think audiences are really into slashers these days. They don't really instill the fear that they used
But
to.
I mean, I want to say though that they did that because they realized that you can kill so many people in their sleep before it gets old. I wonder if they were just trying a new angle. I mean, it's like at least they kind of realized that compared to like the Final Destination films where it's literally the exact same thing every time.
Yeah, but how
Like,
do
oh,
they
people
know?
die due to
How
very
do they know?
possibly supernatural circumstances.
How do they know?
Ooh, and to tie it up with more recent movies. It's literally the same thing every time. Like I don't know why this was ever a franchise. Like could have done one film about this. That would have summed up the entire series in a nutshell.
All right. Well, anyways, talking about horror movies. Next on this best picture list is Fences. Does that sound racist? I didn't mean it to sound racist.
A little racist.
Okay, well, Fences is a movie with starring Denzel Washington and Viola Davis, where they're acting.
Is a horror part of it for you the fact that there are no more racial difference. There are no more racial barriers. Like they can drink in the same water fountain now. Is that terrible to you, Korean?
Dude, I don't know why we don't separate them. It's just horrible,
Separate but equal.
right?
Help, right? Help.
So anyway, so Fences.
Have you seen The Help?
I have not seen The Help.
What?
No, I have not seen Help. I've seen the trailer for Help. Not
Can I
good
just
enough.
say that I always think it's weird that movies in the early 2000s had trailers? Like, those are. It's a dark time for movie trailers.
Why?
It's just like. I always just experience it as like a movie came out, not like, here, let's like have 8,000 trailers about this movie.
Oh, right. I've come to you in my late night binges of watching really shitty old school trailers, right? Not old school, but like 2000s trailers. Yeah.
Although, the early 2000s were just.
What a
It was
weird
just a
time.
really weird
It
time
was a
for everyone.
weird time. All right. So Fences, Denzel Washington, Viola Davis, where they act and they act and they act. It is a play turned into a movie. I have nothing really much else to say about it. I'm not really much a fan of these plays that are movies that are obviously meant to be stage plays. But regardless, this movie is fine. Whatever. It's about black people and their struggles and they act. So yeah. Uh,
What a summary! What a profound summation of that film. Black
uh,
people, they struggle, they act. Film. The end.
uh,
AKA the one kid had been reading a book for the report.
Listen, I'm sure it's a fine movie. I just don't really care to watch it. Next on the list of best pictures is Hacksaw Ridge. This is another movie I saw. I'm a sucker for a good movie, and I'm a super
He's
sucker.
also a sucker for Japanese people dying.
Oh Jesus Christ, Slicer! Don't say that. That's awful.
And listen, I'm going to expose you for the dirty racist you are.
Okay, okay. So Hacksaw Ridge is is one I've seen. Like I said, I'm a real big fan of war movies, but I'm a bigger fan of World War II movies. And I was very interested when this movie explored the Pacific theater. This is something that doesn't happen too much when we see World War II movies. Usually it's the European theater for the most part. Pacific theater is often forgotten. But not only that, it's exploring the fascinating story of Desmond Ross. I forgot his name. True story of this man, believer, he's strong Christian faith. Um, so basically, he will not. It's not just Christian; it's a very specific sect of Christianity. But basically, he will not pick up a gun to take another man's life. But he joins the army because he cannot stand to see his brothers. He has an older brother who goes to join the military. So he cannot stand to see his brothers, both in the literal and metaphorical sense, fight for his country without his help. But he goes in as a non-combatant. Basically, he won't pick up a gun. He goes in as a medic, and so he gets all the shit for it. But it is a tale of redemption, really. But it's a tale of redemption. It's a tale of faith. It's a tale of heroism. I'm not a faithful man. I don't really ascribe to religion too much. But this is a movie that really really captures the essence of faith and belief in something, and a belief in something that you really strongly believe in, which I had a huge respect for. Movie also a return to form for Mel Gibson. Welcome back, you Jew hating racist. So good for him, I suppose. I like.
No, are you trying to get sued?
No, I like Mel Gibson. He had a rough patch earlier, but he still does good work. He makes good movies. So hopefully we'll see more work from him. Hacksaw Ridge is another good one. I liked a lot. Next is Hell or High Water. I did not see this movie, but my dad saw this movie, so that counts, right? This is another one that I have on my list. I don't really have much to say besides I've heard this movie is very good. So this is one I'm planning to watch soon. So yeah, it's also got Jeff Daniels, right? No, Jeff Bridges. God damn it, I'm an idiot. Which I am a big fan of. I like him a lot. I like him enough that I forget his name. Going down the list, we have Hidden Figures, which I'm very surprised got an Oscar nomination, but I'm also happy. I have not seen this movie, but it definitely from my first impression of this movie, it definitely seemed like an Oscar baiting movie. And by Oscar bait, I mean like not a movie that gets an Oscar, but really tries really hard to get an Oscar and ends up being really shitty. So it really seemed like that kind of movie. But I'm glad that it's been received very well. That it's actually been it takes this very important subject matter and really gives it a good story, a good showing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
really does the subject matter service. So I
yeah.
yeah.
And I think I know I said this recording apparently. There was a complaint about that movie where that there's like this reoccurring theme in movies that show struggles of other minorities, where there's always that token white guy who ends up showing his support, like, oh, look at me, I'm such a good person for showing my support in a time where it's acceptable to be racist.
Right.
And yeah, I think that's kind of a valid complaint.
Yeah.
It kind of does detract from the whole thing, but at the same time, I didn't really find it to be that bothering, as I guess some people have.
Well, I'm glad that this kind of subject matter has been getting a well deserved or well respected kind of like showcase, and this is definitely one I put on my list of to watch. Next up is of course La La Land. We've talked plenty of that movie.
I think we've talked it to death.
I'm hoping this one wins Best Picture, although there is some serious contention in the Best Picture nominees this year, but we'll see. Next up is Lion. This is a movie about Indians. I literally know nothing else about this movie.
Wait, Indians or Native Americans?
No, Indians.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, why is it called Lions?
I don't know. No, it's called Lion.
Oh, I thought.
I listen. I literally know nothing else about this movie. It's like
I didn't even realize that was.
It's like a love story. I think it's supposed to be good. I mean, it got nominated for Best Picture. Well, how can I argue with the Academy, right? And public and the public opinion is also very strong. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll see it. I mean, I don't know. Do you have anything to say about this movie?
I didn't even know that was made. I mean, I think the only movie we really watched were like the whitest films of the group. So apparently we just completely disregarded that whole ethnic scale of the other. Like, this is a year where so many good movies about minorities are coming out, and then we just didn't watch any of those, and we just watched the whitest ones we could find.
Listen, if we can defend ourselves, we're not white, okay? So
I don't know if that makes it better, but
no, probably
to
not.
be fair, if you're watching a movie just for, well, I mean, I'm not the type of person to watch a movie just because it has ethnic minorities in
of
it.
course not. No,
you know, but I mean, those are good films. Like, I'm not saying that those aren't good films.
Yeah.
We would love to see them. It's just that we chose to watch white people movies.
Well, it can be kind of difficult to watch this stuff sometimes, you know. But tackling difficult subject matter is another form of another aspect of cinema that is really, you know, that really not evaluates. What's it? Elevates the art form, you know.
Yeah.
But anyways, A Lion, it's an interesting one. I haven't seen too much about it. I barely heard about it. I didn't even know this movie it really existed before it got nominated. But, you know, I'll keep an eye on it. Next
Plus,
up,
you know, it's always good to see characters being properly represented instead of just casting a white actor for it. It's like, well, looks like he's white now. Have fun.
Right.
It's like, yeah, like Dragon Ball the movie.
Oh, Jesus, I've never seen that.
That was the thing. That was a terrible thing. The people who thought that was a good decision at any point in that film was insane and deserved to have lost all the money it lost. Actually, I wonder how much money they put up. Although I swear to God, if this movie made money, faith in the industry. If this movie made money, oh my God, the budget was $30 million and the box office was 57.
Jeez.
How? How did this make money?
You know.
See, this is yet another. Oh my, 2009. This is.
Listen, Dragon Ball Z will Dragon Ball Z.
Although, curiously enough, despite having a white cat, yeah, director and producer were Asian. I know, curious stuff, right? Anyways,
so we got two more movies that are nominated for Best Picture. We have Manchester by the Sea, another movie that didn't hear too much about, but I've heard rave reviews. Another actors.
Yeah, basically, did you want to sum up me in Korean? We watched the two good white people movies, and the other ethnic ones we just assumed were good because of the.
So this one I've heard is very depressing, but you know, very, very good in its drama, I suppose. Very good in its writing, and Casey Affleck doing Casey Affleck things, looking very sad and depressed. So you know, I am sure it's another. It's another one of those movies. I was like, I'm sure it's good. Yeah, enough of that. And then finally, our last one, probably one of the biggest contenders of Best Picture, which I have not seen. I'm sorry. Moonlight. Big hit amongst
yeah, it's a minority too for gay and black.
This movie is
and of course, under Korean's logic, I should be interested.
Oh, well, what's that supposed to mean? What's that supposed to mean?
Because apparently, I being a genuine heterosexual, be interested in watching men frolic with other men.
Right. So Moonlight is, as you said, about a gay black man. Like I said, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know a whole lot. But it is about I think the exploration of this journey through adolescence and through adulthood of this main character who struggles to kind of find his identity as a homosexual and as a also as an African American. Oh no, black. I don't want to say African American. African American is a stupid word.
No, he was born in America. He is in fact black.
Yeah. So it's an exploration of his journey. It's kind of like a coming of age film, I believe. But it tackles some very serious subject matter, and I've heard the cinematography is very good in this one as well. So yeah, it's a movie that I should probably watch, but I don't really want to.
Again, I'm sure I summed us perfectly.
All right. Yeah, exactly. All right, so those are our Best Picture nominees. There are some other awards I want to go through, but we'll go through them pretty quickly. So there are Best Actor in the Leading Role is another big one. So we have Casey Affleck, Andrew Garfield, Ryan Gosling, Viggo Mortensen. I did not know he did a movie, and Denzel Washington. So Viggo Mortensen, I just want to talk about it. So he was in a movie called Captain Fantastic. I have no idea what this movie is at all.
The Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Yeah, that's Mr. Fox. But you know what? I'm glad he got nominated. I love Viggo. I don't know. I haven't seen him since Lord of the Rings, but he's a cool guy.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah. I like him as an actor, so I'm glad he got nominated. Denzel Washington got nominated. I think that's a given, but like I kind of don't want him to win because Fences is really just like an actor's movie, so it's just like whatever. You know what? I haven't seen his performance. I'm sure he does a real good job, but still, I mean, like it's a fucking play movie, like whatever. Ryan Gosling was great. Andrew Garfield was killer in Hacksaw Ridge. Like I'm impressed with Andrew Garfield's career. I mean, I kind of thought he was kind of when I first kind of in his first couple of movies, but lately he's been showing up to be really, really good. Like he's a very impressive actor, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in future roles. And then Casey Affleck, showing a performance. The other Affleck brother, he can do things too.
Okay. Okay, sure.
All right. Then we have actresses in a leading role. We have Isabel Huppert for Elle. I don't know what that movie is actually.
Elle?
I don't know. I'll look it up later. Ruth Negga for Loving. Do you know about Loving?
Nope. I don't know nothing about Loving.
Loving is a movie about the famous case Loving v. I think is it the United States? I can't remember. But no, it can't be the United States. Loving v. Virginia maybe or something like that. But it's a groundbreaking case where it allowed basically went to the Supreme Court and allowed interracial marriage to be legal.
Oh, right.
And I was when I first saw the trailer for that, I was interested. I thought it was an interesting movie and it looked good. I never got around to seeing it, but I might end up if it comes up on like I don't know Netflix or something.
Loving versus Virginia.
Something like that. It might be Virginia. I can't remember. But yeah, it's a movie that really caught my attention, and I'll try to see where I can find it because it looks interesting. And Ruth Negga, who plays Mrs. Loving. She's nominated for Best Actress. We also have Natalie Portman, nominated for playing Jackie Kennedy in a biopic. That is a sure thing for the Academy. But I've heard she does very well in this movie. Jackie's another movie that was also very interesting, but I never got around to seeing. Actually, I could go see it. It's in theaters right now, so maybe I'll go see it. But yeah, Natalie Portman is another actress I kind of like. Emma Stone for La La Land, great. She did great in that movie. I'm rooting for her. So many times she breaks my heart in that movie, so I'm hoping she wins. And we have Meryl Streep, cause why not? Let's nominate every time Meryl Streep's in the movie. You know,
it's Meryl Streep. Like, what are you gonna do? Not nominate her?
The Academy finds out Meryl Streep is in a movie, and then they're like, "Oh my God, we have to nominate her. It's Meryl Streep."
Dude, like it's Meryl Streep. Like, what do you want?
I will say though, there is one serious snub that a lot of people are noticing. Amy Adams is not nominated for anything.
Really?
She was a leading actress in two pretty big movies. Arrival, nominated for Best Picture, in which she is amazing in, by the way. And Nocturnal Animals, did not watch it, but I heard she's also very good. Now, I've heard the rumor is that because she was in these two movies, the Academy's votes were split, and so therefore she could not gain as much votes for one or other role. Therefore, she kind of fell to the wayside, which is very disappointing if that's so. But
yeah.
Her performance in Arrival was fantastic and one of the highlights of the movie for sure. She very subtle. It wasn't a like huge dramatic, breakout role, but like it was a very subtle role that was executed very well. Like Amy Adams did a fantastic job with that one. Anyway, so that one's kind of disappointing. But moving on, we also have supporting roles nominees. So we have Mahershala Ali in Moonlight, Jeff Bridges in Hell or High Water. I love Jeff Bridges. He's a great actor. Lucas Hedges, Manchester by the Sea. Dev Patel in Lion, and Michael Shannon in Nocturnal Animals. I like Michael Shannon. He's a cool guy too. I haven't seen too many movies, but for the few movies I've seen, he's done a pretty good job. Whoops. Dev Patel though is an interesting one. I've heard some people criticize him for being nominated for supporting actor when people think that he was a main actor in Lion. But once again, I know nothing about this movie. All I hear is people talking about it. So yeah. Oh, you know what? Another snub. I am so disappointed that Hugo Weaving does not get nominated for Best Actor in a Supporting Role for his portrayal as Andrew Garfield's character's father. You haven't seen Hacksaw Ridge, right?
I have not.
Okay, Hugo Weaving plays plays Andrew Garfield's character's father, and he is a World War I veteran, broken by his war experience. So like his friends all dead and stuff.
Yeah.
He's a drunk and an abusive father, but like but depressed, really broken from the war. And he is so good in Hacksaw Ridge. Like there's a moment when Andrew Garfield character, no, not Andrew Garfield's character, his brother comes into the dining room with a uniform on, so obviously he's enlisted, and you just see a Hugo Weaving's character just the mental gymnastics he's going through right now, seeing his son has enlisted in the war, and the scene that he has in the dining scene has just such raw emotion. Hugo Weaving is obviously a fantastic actor, and I am very disappointed and frankly shocked that he didn't get nominated for his role in Hacksaw Ridge. I thought it was a great performance. Anyways, that's always gonna happen. There's always gonna be snubs. There's always gonna be disappointments when it comes to these awards. So next we have actress in a supporting role, Viola Davis. Viola Davis, really, I'm surprised. I thought she had a leading role next to Denzel Washington. Oh, whatever. Anyways, so Naomi Harris in Moonlight, Nicole Kidman in Lion, Octavia Spencer, goddammit, in Hidden Figures, and Michelle Williams in Manchester by the Sea. I like Michelle Williams. She doesn't show up that much, but when she does, she does pretty well, I think. I like Michelle. Michelle. That's a...
Okay, please don't sing again.
That's a Beatles song. Oh, you don't like my singing? Alright, and then we have Best Animated Feature Film. I'm not the biggest fan of animation, but I did see Moana. That film was alright. You saw Kubo, right?
Yes.
I heard that was a really good film.
Kubo, I wish it did a little bit better.
Yeah, I heard it was kind of a flop, right? At the box office?
Flop because, there wasn't anything wrong with it.
It's hard to sell stop motion. It's stop motion, right?
Yeah, it's stop motion. I mean, it was done very, very well.
I mean, it's hard to sell stop motion to a general American audience, especially one that has kind of like a foreign twang to it, and also with a name like Kubo of Two Strings. Like, I can understand why it didn't do that hot at the box office. Although
it was a good film. Yeah. It was very entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest animation guy, but I can respect good art form. I can respect good art. Other nominations are My Life as Zucchini, which is amazing.
I did not see that one.
The Red Turtle, and Zootopia, which I heard was actually pretty good.
Really?
Here's the thing about the animated feature category, right? Most of the Academy does not see these movies. So for the most part, they will pick the Disney movie or the Pixar movie. In this case, it's Moana. I'm gonna bet 9 to 1 that Moana wins Best Picture. Best animated feature, sorry. Maybe Zootopia, but that one's kind of less so, I think.
Although I heard My Life as Zucchini is pretty interesting.
I have no idea what this movie is.
It's not about a zucchini.
Okay.
Pretty sure. It's not VeggieTales Part 2.
VeggieTales.
It's not quite that.
I like VeggieTales.
Fairly certain.
Another one of my favorite awards, cinematography. Nominated are Arrival, La La Land. Okay, so nominated for cinematography for La La Land is Linus Sandgreen. So he's the director of photography, I believe. So I hope he wins. but once again, there is some heavy contention here. So La La Land, Lion, Moonlight, and very interestingly, Silence. Okay, Silence, right? Scorsese's big passion project, huge film. The fact that it has Martin Scorsese's name on it is a big thing. It's a religious, epic. You don't hear that you don't hear that all the time, right?
I don't know. Gods of Egypt was supposed to be a religious epic, but you know, I wouldn't say it was an epic.
This is a religious period piece epic set in a unique setting. Shinto period, I think is what it's called in Japan. I haven't seen it. I really want to see it. I can't find a theater near me that's showing it, so that's really disappointing.
That's sad.
I hear it's good. How does this not get nominated for Best Picture? Like, it has all the workings of Best Picture nomination and it doesn't get to receive a nomination. In fact, cinematography is the only nomination that Silence has received. I am very surprised. You know?
I too am surprised. Wow.
It seems like the Academy has a real hard time for Scorsese. Like, Scorsese has had a really tough record with the Academy. I mean, his one Best Director win was for The Departed. And like, that's not even his best movie. Oh man. Whatever. Well, I'm hoping I can see this movie soon. I'm a big fan of Scorsese's films. And if this is in for Best Cinematography, La La Land has a run for its money, especially when it's up against movies like Arrival and Moonlight. I'm really hoping La La Land wins. That cinematography is gorgeous. And I think it might have an edge with the Academy. The Academy likes to suck its own dick a lot of the time, you know. If a movie is about old school Hollywood, it has a good chance of doing well at the awards. All right, we have some other awards. We have costume design. Okay. I mean, you know, it's important, but you know, La La Land is nominated here as well. Not a big surprise. I think La La Land will win this one. Fantastic Beasts is nominated. Actually, not too surprised. Basically, if your movie is set in the past, you're gonna probably get a nomination, right?
Do you see Fantastic Beasts?
No, I did not see Fantastic Beasts.
Really?
I kind of wanted to, but then I was like, meh. Then I found out they're trying to make a trilogy out of it. So
I only wanted to because the main character is just 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I don't know. It kind of looks funny, though.
Nah, man.
All right.
Fam.
All right. Here's one of the big awards, one of the big five. We have directing. I'm surprised it's all the way down here. So nominated are Denis Villeneuve for Arrival, Mel Gibson for Hacksaw Ridge, Damon Chazelle for La La Land, Kenneth Lonergan for Manchester by the Sea, and Barry Jenkins for Moonlight. Denis Villeneuve has been on fire lately. Like, he's just been back to back good movies over and over again. He is also set to direct the next he's set to direct the Blade Runner sequel. Have you seen Blade Runner?
Yeah.
So he's set to direct that, which is very exciting. And he's also, I think, directing the he's been picked to direct the Han Solo standalone movie.
Really?
Yeah, that's very exciting, honestly. Like, I don't have too much hope for that movie, but like, if it's Villeneuve behind it, like, I'm excited. This guy's good. This guy knows what he's doing.
Did they decide who is going to be young Han Solo?
Yes. I don't know his name.
Oh, that doesn't help me.
It is not Scott Eastwood.
Is it a younger, or is it just Harrison Ford but with like CGI?
They should just do that. Why not? How it can be? Oh man. So anyway, Denis Villeneuve, he's a very good director. He's been doing very well. Mel Gibson returned to form. Welcome back, Mel Gibson. Hope you don't fuck it up again. He did well. You know what? Hacksaw Ridge was a fine directed movie, but nothing in the direction really blew me away, honestly. Like, in fact, I thought Hacksaw Ridge in its direction was very safe. It was a good movie, you know. It was well done, but the direction was pretty safe, I think, in my opinion. Damien Chazelle, obviously for La La Land, fantastic direction in that movie. I'm hoping he wins for this one too. I believe he was nominated 2 years ago for Whiplash as well. So this guy just, how does he have so much talent? It's not fair.
You can ask yourself that all you like, but I don't think you're gonna get a satisfying answer.
Not fair. And the other two directors I don't know too much about, but I've heard, you know, the movies are good, and they're all nominated for Best Picture as well. So you know, they're all probably good movies. Best documentary, Fire at Sea, I Am Not Your Negro, Life Animated, OJ Made in America, and 13th. I think OJ Made in America is
Wait,
their
what
front
was
runner.
it?
What?
What was it? What was nominated for best?
I kind of just blasted through it. So we've got Fire at Sea, I Am Not Your Negro, Life Animated, OJ Made in America, and 13th.
Definitely interesting to see. To see the amount of racial components of movies this year.
You might say that after the backlash of Oscars So White last year, that they might be overcompensating.
Oscar so was that it was an actual tag?
I think so. I can't remember. But honestly, I think everybody just gotta shut the fuck up. You know, if a movie is good, it will be nominated. Okay, race has nothing to do with it. All right.
I wouldn't say nothing.
Oh come on, right?
I wouldn't say nothing, Korean.
Do you really want the Academy to devolve into having a quota? You know,
No,
like if
I
you
don't think
have...
it should have a quota, but I wouldn't say that race has nothing.
Okay, so do you think that last year the Oscars were white to be white?
I mean, I thought the Oscars were pretty damn white.
Listen, if the Academy decides that these certain movies deserved awards and these others didn't, then you know it's how it ends up. Yes, I'm not gonna sympathize with the Academy too much. They do make mistakes. Fucking crash. How does that win? They do make mistakes, and I will say there were some obvious omissions from last year, like Selma, no nomination from that one. But honestly, I think the whole Oscars being too white thing was way overblown. And I do hope that they don't try to overcompensate for that. You know, movies, film, and the art that they try to portray will deserve recognition when they deserve it. You know, they will get recognition when they deserve it. That's what I believe. That's my belief. Anyways, so talking about race. I think OJ Made in America is the front runner for documentary. I haven't seen any of these movies, but I've heard a lot of buzz about OJ. It's also one of the longest movies nominated for an Academy Award, just because it is a miniseries that was released as a single movie, specifically for Oscar contention. So it's like 400 or so minutes long. Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, we also have short subject documentary awards. So we have Extremis, 4.1 Miles, Joe's Violin, Watari in My Homeland, and The White Helmet.
Watari in My Homeland?
Watari. Actually, it's Watani. Whoops. Once again, know nothing about these movies.
Yeah, again, because we watched the whitest ones we could.
Well, I mean, Joe's Violin's about a white guy, I think. It's got a white guy on it.
It doesn't change. That doesn't change anything, Korean.
Anyways, up for Best Editing, we have Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, La La Land, and Moonlight. I think La La Land has this one in the bag. The editing in that movie is great. You know what? Actually, Arrival might be a contender for this one. I haven't seen Moonlight, so I can't comment on the editing. But Arrival's editing was also very good. There were some very clever things that they did with the editing in Arrival that was very well done. But I think La La Land is the winner. I think we'll win this one. Best Foreign Language, Land of Mine from Denmark, A Man Called O from Sweden, The Salesman from Iran, Tana from Australia, and Tony Erdmann from Germany. So when I was looking through this list originally, I was very surprised that The Handmaiden was not nominated. But then this is a Korean film from famous director Park Chan-wook. He did Old Boy. Then I found out that to get nominated for Best Foreign Language Film, a country has to nominate a film. So a single film country gets nominated for foreign language film, and then the Academy determines from that pool of pictures a picture to nominate for foreign language. And the Korean government did not nominate The Handmaiden. I was very surprised by that. Then I found out that the government does not like Park Chan-wook, which is a real damn shame. Apparently he's blacklisted. That really sucks.
Why is he blacklisted?
I don't know. There's probably some political thing. You know, Korea kind of is a messy political wise. South Korea, it's kind of messy.
Is it any messier than West right now?
Yeah. So you know, shame that didn't get nominated. I have not seen the movie, but I have a respect for Park Chan-wook and his art form. I may have read the Wikipedia article on the movie.
Cough, 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 cough.
Seems like a very good one. Oh, if you're really into lesbian sex stuff, this is a good one too.
That's okay.
Apparently, there's a very explicit scene where
Opening.
Where they the woman they bone.
If you're into lesbians and
You're
sex,
into lesbians. There we go. And Korean people.
a lesbian Koreans.
Lesbian Koreans. 3 nominees for makeup and hairstyling: A Man Called Oh, Star Trek Beyond, and Suicide Squad. Congrats, Suicide Squad. You're now an Oscar-nominated movie.
Even with the highly irrelevant Jared Leto, like Jared Leto did not make an impact in that movie whatsoever.
You know, now Suicide
Although
Squad.
he did generate that wonderful meme, like she was his queen, she was fearless and crazier than him. Blah blah blah.
You know what? Now here's the thing though. Suicide Squad can now, like, when they go for like DVD sales, they can just say Suicide Squad Oscar-nominated movie. I'm like, oh no. All right. So original score nominees, we have Jackie, La La Land, Lion, Moonlight, and get this, Passengers.
Yeah.
How? I am beyond shocked this movie got nominated for anything. Like, this movie just seems like such a forgetful piece of, not trash, but just like such a forgetful movie. Like that the fact that this has Academy recognition is just beyond me. But yeah, I think La La Land has this one easy.
Yeah. It's in the bag.
Pairing along nicely with original song, we have music. We have the nominees for best original song. We have Audition from La La Land, Can't Stop the Feeling from Trolls. That's
I heard that movie was actually pretty good.
Pretty good. All right, well, I'm not gonna see it. City of Stars, City
Wow.
of Stars from La La Land, The Empty Chair from Jim the James Foley. ... I think there's more to that. I don't know.
Hey,
and
two
how,
recommendations.
Yeah, and How Far I'll Go from Moana. So the fact that this got 2 nominations, it's a good chance La La Land is winning this one. I wish Another Day of Sun got nominated, but whatever. These nominations are also very good. A lot of people are disappointed Sing Street didn't get any nominations. I've heard that movie was very good. Also another movie I haven't seen, but whatever. Moving on to production design, Arrival, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Hail Caesar, I'll talk about that movie. La La Land, again. 14 nominations, guys, people. We're going to see this movie come up again. And another nomination, Passengers. So not only is Passengers a Oscar-nominated movie, it is a 2-time Academy Award-nominated movie. What? Oh, man. Talking about Hail Caesar, though, this is a movie I have on my watch list. Like, this is a movie I really want to watch. It's the Coen Brothers, so that's a big name. I love Coen Brothers, and it's an old school Hollywood movie. You know, in the same vein as La La Land, really. So I mean, this is a movie that hits all the marks. I'll have to see it to determine how good it is. But I'm kind of surprised it doesn't have as much recognition from the Academy. You know what? I will say that it probably makes sense considering that it released early in the year, like around February or so, January, I think, actually. So that's kind of a dead season. Like if you really want Academy recognition, you really gotta release in like November or December, you know. But you know, the fact that it does have a nod to production design means that the Academy did pay a little bit of attention. So you know, I'll have to watch the movie, make a decision. But like the Coen Brothers have done such good work, like they can't. How bad can it be, right? And it's got such good talent behind it too. Channing Tatum, fucking, oh my god, what's her name? Ralph Fiennes wasn't what I was thinking of, but Ralph Fiennes is in this movie too. Scarlett Johansson, that's the what I was thinking of. You know, yeah. So this is another surprise.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Scarlett Johansson, Ghost in the Shell. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I have no opinion either way. You know, I find it funny how some people have their panties in a twist over Scarlett Johansson, but I think it looks interesting. I think
I'm curious to see how it does.
Yeah. All right, okay, we're rounding off the list now. We're getting to the end. This is the nominees for best short film animated: Blind Vesha, Borrowed Time, Parasite and Cigarettes, Pearl, and Piper. I actually have seen Piper, and I think I've seen Borrowed Time. I'm not sure if that's the movie it's just a short film I'm thinking, but I do believe I've seen Borrowed Time. Piper is gorgeous. It's such a cute little film, and it really it flexes. I think it's Pixar. It's Pixar really flexing its animation muscles. Like the water is gorgeous. So that's a cute little film that I liked. And Borrowed Time, I think Borrowed Time is what it is. I think this is the movie, but I think this is what it is. This is also a pretty good one. Kind of dark. This is ex-Pixar animators. They made a movie about this man reminiscing about a certain event in his past in which he lost his father. Pretty dark, I will say, but you know, good. It was a good one. We also have best short film live action.
You know, I'm glad
Yeah.
that you have more of an opinion about all these movies that we have not seen than I do, because
Well, I mean,
I,
we got it's good to know about some movies.
I mean, I guess even in hindsight, we probably should have watched more movies before doing episode 2.
Nah, I'm fine with this. I mean, we're busy. We're busy students, right? We don't have all the time in the world to watch movies.
Busy students. Yep.
I don't have time to watch a movie every single week.
Yeah. So
But
yes.
but here's the thing though, right? It doesn't matter if we don't have time to see every single movie that out. We're still passionate about film. We love film, right?
Oh yeah, we do.
And I think that's good enough. I can't
For
see
those
everything.
for those of you who are curious, all half of you, which is 0.5 of a person that's curious about what we're talking about. Korean here is a stripper, and I'm a bio major. So
Yep, straight up
we
stripper.
don't really have time to watch all the films in the world.
Straight up stripper.
Yeah, because trust me, accounting and biochemistry take up time. As we all know, that all strippers take accounting.
Right, of
Some
course,
point there.
some point in there. I mean, stripping can only take you so far. All right, so let's get through the rest of these nominations. So, nominated for best short film live action: Enemies in Terrors, La Femme et la TGV, Silent Nights, Sing, and Time Code. Yep, those are movies. Nominations for best sound editing are Arrival, Deepwater Horizon,
Yep, those are movies. Moving on.
Hacksaw Ridge. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm doing a disservice to these movies. I don't mean to be mean to these movies. I'm sure they're fine, but I just haven't seen them, and I frankly have not heard of them either. So, best sound editing nominations for best sound editing are Arrival, Deepwater Horizon, Hacksaw Ridge, La La Land, and Sully. I will say the sound editing in Arrival very good, very good. The sound in La La Land, in Arrival, sorry. Yeah, very, very good. Arrival was such a great movie. It's such a good movie. Sound editing in Hacksaw Ridge was also fine. It's a war movie. Usually those are pretty good sound editing. And then, of course, there's La La Land. I think this one is also another shoe-in for La La Land. But, if Arrival wins, I won't be upset either. Nominations for Best Sound Mixing: Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge, La La Land, Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, and 13 Hours: The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Okay. I mean, sound mixing is different from actual filmmaking, I suppose. So, the movie didn't look good. 13 Hours did not look good. It was a Michael Bay war movie. It did not look that good. But if it had good sound mixing, then it had good sound mixing. I'm glad Rogue One got recognition. John Williams scores are always great. But this is once again another one that I think La La Land is gonna win. God, I think the La La Land has a good chance of really sweeping the Oscars this year, dude.
Yeah.
Nominees for best visual
Certainly
effects.
not a biased opinion.
No, of course not. Why would it be biased? Right? Ignore the first half of this whole podcast. Not biased at all. Nominated for best visual effects: Deepwater Horizon, Doctor Strange, The Jungle Book, Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, and very interesting, Kubo and the Two Strings. The first ever film to be nominated for best animated feature and best visual effects. Now, I assume you think this is a deserving nomination, right? I think you liked the movie, right?
Like the what?
I think you would say this is a deserving nomination, Kubo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard
It was just the only unfortunate part was, La La Land was also kind of, it was definitely artsy. It wasn't like a generic audience movie,
And
But-
don't worry, Slicer. La La Land is not nominated for visual effects.
I know, but just hear me out. So
Yeah.
it's kind of experimental. It's definitely a good lease without a lot of executive meddling. I mean, the producer wanted actually to make this movie about someone who was into rock and roll, not jazz, which I think would have ruined it. And Kubo was the same way. It was allowed for a lot of artistic creativity, and I mean, it didn't do anything wrong. The execution was good. Everything was done well. It's just the fickle nature of art hit it pretty hard when it was released.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it does deserve something. I hope it wins.
Yeah. I've seen bits of the Jungle Book as well, and the use of CG is very well done in that movie.
I heard.
There's some good nominations here for visual effects.
Yes.
Rounding off, we're getting to the final, as I like to call them, the Big Five awards. So we have best nominees for best writing for adapted screenplay. We have Arrival, Fences, Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures is an adapted screenplay. I did not know that. Lion and Moonlight. And Moonlight is an adapted screenplay too. Oh my god, nothing is original. All right. Well, Arrival, I can attest to the writing. It was very well written. I mean, just go see it, people. Just go see the movie. So yeah, those are the nominees for best adapted screenplay, and the nominees for best original screenplay are Hell or High Water, La La Land, The Lobster. Very interesting movie. Looks interesting at least. Manchester by the Sea and 20th Century Woman. So I mean, we'll see what wins out of here. But I think man, this hasn't happened in a while, but I really feel like La La Land has a good chance of winning the Big Five. And when I mean Big Five, I mean best picture, best director, best actor, best actress, and best screenplay. And in this case, best original screenplay. I think there's a very, very good chance that La La Land can just sweep it all.
I don't know about screenplay.
You don't think about screenplay? Who do you think might win with screenplay?
Moonlight?
But they're in different categories though, you know.
Oh.
So La La Land is in best original screenplay. You know what? Hell or High Water and Manchester by the Sea are probably maybe might give La La Land for the running. But the thing is though, the screenplay in La La Land, so the basic story was pretty basic.
Wait a second. So there are two separate categories for.
There are two separate categories for writing. There's a data screenplay and original screenplay. But when it comes to the Big Five, so long as you win one of those awards, you are considered.
That's a hilarious implication.
What?
Original screenplay and just screenplay.
Oh.
Yeah, like you're not saying what I'm saying. Like, oh yeah, like there's a difference between like authentic hard work and then just like something you shout out one morning because you wanted to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, basically, screenplay is just another word for which is the biggest shits. Which was the biggest shit someone took this year?
Yeah. So I mean, I think La La Land, even though it had a kind of a basic story, the bare bone story is pretty basic. Overall, the screenplay is very good. I think it's very tight screenplay, very good original, well written screenplay, and I think it has a good chance. That one is probably its weakest category, but in the other four, I think it has a very good chance of sweeping it. Very good chance.
Oh yeah, it's just screenplay and original screenplay. I don't know if La La Land is gonna win. But the other categories, I say, La La Land has a very strong chance.
So the fact that La La Land has already been nominated for 14 Academy Awards, which is, by the way, tying with only
Titanic,
2 other films.
What was the other film? Titanic and
it's an old school movie with Marilyn Monroe.
Really, Marilyn Monroe?
I think so. I believe so. Yep, I can look it up. Academy Awards records. List of Academy Award records. Most nominations: All About Eve in 1950, which starred not Marilyn Monroe. God damn it! Whoops. Damn it! I thought it was Marilyn Monroe. It stars Betty Davis, Ann Baxter, George Sanders, and Celeste Holm. God damn it! Whatever. So the 3 films that have been nominated for 14 nominations are All About Eve, Titanic, and La La Land. The largest sweep was The Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, which won all 11 categories for which it was nominated for, which is also very impressive. I think Lord of the Rings is also one of the few films that did the Big Five. No, they didn't. I don't think they got actors nominated one. But I know the ones that did the Big Five are the ones that did the Big Five are Silence of the Lambs and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which are both fantastic movies, by the way. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is one of my favorite. Let me look it up. All right, let's go to awards and honors. All right, so yes, it won the Academy Award for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Adapted Screenplay. So yeah, that and it's in the list of Academy Award records. Oh, Big Five winners. There was a whole category in that Wikipedia article that skipped. So the 3 movies that have won the Big Five are It Happened One Night, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and The Silence of the Lambs. So we'll see if there's a 4th one soon. Maybe. maybe. Screenplay might be an issue, and the actors, there might be some contention, and Best Picture might even be up for grabs too. But we'll see. We'll see. Well, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the awards. Are you?
Probably not as much as you, but yeah,
Probably not as much as
it's
you.
gonna be interesting. I mean, yeah, La La Land might be in for a sweep, and I'm sure there might be some backlash from all the haters out there. But oh well.
All right. Well, you know what? I think we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for anybody who listened. And thanks for joining us talk about La La Land forever. You should definitely see it. I'm gonna give you a laundry list of movies that everybody should see. Everybody should see La La Land. Everybody should go see Arrival. Everybody should go see Moonlight, because apparently everybody should see Moonlight. Right? I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, but apparently everybody should. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully we'll be back soon, not after 2 months. And I'll see you at the movies. Bye.